Good evening. I'm Brett Baer. We are coming to you tonight from the Richard Nixon Presidential Library in Yorba Linda, California. Part of a two-week tour. More on that a bit later. First up, what could be a major step backward in the effort to eliminate the threat of North Korea's nuclear weapons program. President Trump says there's a good chance next month's planned summit with Kim Jong-un will not happen on schedule. The president indicating today the meeting will either be on his terms or it won't happen at all. And it could very well be delayed as a possibility. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts starts us off from the North Lawn tonight with where the summit's prospects are tonight. Good evening, John.
Brett, good evening. In the Oval Office today, President Trump told me the chances of a summit between him and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is basically a coin flip. 50-50, the president said. But the White House is still making plans.
Mr. President, great honor.
President Trump has repeatedly stated that the summit with Kim Jong-un may happen, it may not happen. We'll see. In the Oval Office today with South Korean President Moon Jae-in, the president went further down the road to pessimism than he has thus far.
There's a very substantial chance that it won't work out, and that's okay. That doesn't mean it won't work out over a period of time. But it may not work out for June 12th.
The president's remarks flew in the face of the South Korean National Security Advisor, who said just hours earlier there was a 99% chance the meeting will happen. Later this afternoon, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the State Department is still working toward the June 12th date and that the U.S. is in deep discussions with North Korea over substance.
We're working to make sure that there's a common understanding about the contents of what will be discussed. But I'm optimistic. But again, this could be something that comes right to the end, and it doesn't happen.
Today, North Korea invited journalists to its nuclear test site, which North Korea says is being decommissioned. But it's unclear whether the site was even usable after the last nuclear test reportedly collapsed tunnels. President Trump repeated today that Kim will receive protections in exchange for dismantling his nuclear program.
We will guarantee his safety. And we've talked about that from the beginning. He will be safe. He will be happy.
But President Trump expressed frustration that North Korea's recent squishiness about a summit seemed to coincide with a second meeting Kim had with Chinese President Xi Jinping on May 8th.
The second meeting, I think there was a little change in attitude from Kim Jong-un. So I don't like that. I don't like that.
President Trump also said he's not happy with how trade talks between the U.S. and China have been going, despite tweeting that China has agreed to buy massive amounts of additional farm agricultural products, would be one of the best things to happen to our farmers in many years. And the president insists he has not cut a deal to save Chinese telecom giant ZTE, though he does have some ideas of what it would take to keep ZTE in business.
What I envision is a very large fine of more than $1 billion, could be $1.3 billion. I envision a new management, a new board, and very, very strict security rules. And I also envision that they will have to buy a big percentage of their parts and equipment from American companies.
Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin was pummeled with questions about ZTE on Capitol Hill today. After conversations with President Trump, the Senate Minority Leader came away worried the president will go soft on ZTE to keep Xi Jinping happy.
We're pressing the president to stand firm, not to let ZTE wriggle out from under the tough sanctions we leveled on them.
And President Trump had some ideas today of how he sees the long game with North Korea. In the short term, the president envisions two Koreas, prosperous and living in peaceful coexistence. He did say he would ultimately like to see a reunified Korean peninsula, but only if the two countries wanted that to happen. No imposition of such an idea from the United States. Brett?
More on this with the panel. John Roberts live on the North Lawn. John, thanks.